Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, and this is a very exciting day. Very exciting day because we are celebrating top founders, disruptors who have made a huge difference to the economic ecosystem of our country. Uh, as a lawyer who is working with many startups and established companies, I find it quite unbelievable what is being achieved in last 10 to 15 years in this country, especially with the kind of younger generation and kind of ambition they have in variety of areas and the landscape they are creating. Um, I have to tell you that if you see, we have done a subtopic and the impact of new gen direct to customer brands in redefining traditional retail with technology signaling a dynamic revolution. So when you will hear my panelists, you will realize that how they all have actually used pandemic as an opportunity. Especially when I was reading about them, I realized that all three of them have done huge advantage to pandemic. Whosoever has come out of the pandemic with all guns blazing, you have three of those stars right here. You can celebrate them, you can clap for them before I start. So, Malini, I think Malini we haven't got, right? Okay, Udita, we'll start with you. Tell us your story. What is the business and how this is a disruptive time for D2C, and what all plans you had, how pandemic disrupted it, and how you made it to your advantage.
Hi everyone. So I'm the founder of TrueBrowns. We are a lifestyle brand. We do women's wear apparel, jewelry, and very recently we launched menswear. And the entire brand is built on the concept of going back to the roots. So we just don't sell products, we tell stories, we sell a concept, and the idea is to build a brand movement around bringing roots and our traditions to the modern lifestyle. And so started this in 2016 in terms of inception, in terms of product market fit study as to see where we are lying. One of our core propositions for the brand is to be size inclusive. So that was the market study that I was doing at that point of time. And 2019 is when we actually started in full-fledged way. And initially it was only marketplaces is where we were selling. So Myntra, Ajio, Nykaa and the likes is where we were selling, and pandemic 2020 is actually where we were confident of going all out and we started our own brand website. And that's the year it changed, the entire game changed, because the kind of resonance we saw on our own brand website was humongous. And the consumers clearly were shifting from, very clearly from retail to online. And all the big players at that time also was entering online. So, but we also went online completely with our own brand website at that particular point of time. Disrupted it in a way where everything from, which is hygiene today, we built our basics right at that point of time. And we held our story very tight in terms of bringing roots to the modern lifestyle. And this is what I would say our consumers love us for today. It's not just the product, it's also the story that we hold very strong for.
Good initial thoughts, and Paridhi will come to you. And you are in a very competitive field, the kind of products which you go with to the direct to customer. They have high-end retail presence in all the major markets. If you talk about the established brands in the shoes and the bags and other categories. And when did you start and how did you decide to take it head on? And what is the pandemic angle of it?
Sure. Hi, I'm Paridhi Sekhri, co-founder of TidyUp. So TidyUp is a brand that's dedicated to helping you find your calm and making your life more convenient. Pandemic has a huge role in playing with it. because, I'm a very strong believer that when you do your business with a lot of passion in something which you believe in that rose from a personal problem, you'll find a lot of people out there, all the consumers, who are facing the same problem. So when you're finding a solution to your personal problem, you're finding a solution to others as well. In pandemic, so I was just sitting and how we did not have any access to the outside market. I was homebound like all of you. And I found that all of my products that I valued, whether they were luxury or just something that I cherished because of memories or emotional bonding, they were all getting damaged and deteriorated because they were not being taken care of. In India, there's a lot of problem of dust, storage, and I was finding because I could not send them outside to be taken care of, they were just getting spoiled. And all the solutions that we were using here per se in India were not sustainable at all. We were using a lot of plastic, a lot of paper to take care of our products, when we store our bags or our garments or shoes. And being in touch with how important it is for leaving a positive footprint in today's environment, I was a firm believer that we need to come out with products that will help solve this problem. At the same time, the product that's solving it should be sustainable, affordable, and easy accessible. So we launched this product. I would slightly differentiate when I would say that I'm in a competitive market because I had the first movers advantage, where products like this are currently not available in India, which are so affordable, at the same time sustainable. We do have a market outside that we can send our products for, say, dry cleaning or damage repair, but not something that you can take care of at the ease of your own home. So pandemic made us see all the different problems that we were facing inside our own home, and that made us design and research and develop products that could solve this.
Okay, good. We'll come back on going more in detail. Gagan, coming to you, and I want you to go, because we have covered the retail, we have talked about the clothes, how to keep them properly, and the shoes and the bags. Now we are on ice cream and everything related to the newest thing. And I was just reading somewhere that two areas, and this is a guy, and we have somebody sitting here who has done massive revolution on bakery, and everybody knows him. So tell me, what was your reason for entering into this segment, and what do you see happening here? Started in 2020, which is like hitting the six on the first ball in today's terms. When you're talking about 2020 is like pandemic. So tell us your story.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. My name is Gagan. I'm the founder of Scuzo. Scuzo Isomagic is like, I spent my 18 years into the F&B industry. And after spending my 18 years, I thought to turn my hobby, into my passion. So I just, followed my passion, and then being a part of like a F&B industry, I thought like, what should I do? Because the first thing first, I read when I started my career that treat as you want to be treated, right? So this is the first, mantra which I have got to know exactly. So I thought like, being a part of it into like, F&B industry, I want to serve I want to come out with something innovative. When the whole world was suffering through pandemic, and especially doctors had let everyone say that not to eat anything cold during pandemic, right? And after the first lockdown, I thought I was sitting at home, I was just thinking what is my favorite, my favorite is sweet, but sweet at the same time it is cold as well, but doctor has prescribed not to eat it, right? So I thought let's make it something sweeter and then healthier option into this. So I entered into this, dessert cafe segment.
ये वो time है जो beer भी गर्म करके पी रहे थे आप लोग.
Yes. So I mean at that time I just thought let's start something dessert cafe segment where it's not just the cold one. If somebody was so I started Scuzo Isomagic at that time, the first outlet in Delhi after the first lockdown. But almost 4 months of our store we ran into it, and then that was basically the concept again thought of innovation, because at the same time doctor said you can eat fruits also. Kiwi is something was being selling as a hotcakes and so expensive. Kiwi was 100 rupees each kiwi, right? I thought let's promote kiwi there, because if I'll be eating, because people, I saw people, they were ordering Baskin Robbins and the other brands ice cream at their home. So at the same time, I just thought if people are ordering ice cream, then they are allowed to eat also, but at the same time they want something healthier option.
Wow.
Right? So I played with fruits. Right? I played only with the fruits. Right? So I started India's first live popsicle making concept. Again, I thought of innovation. So I said, whatever the fruits you want, we can turn those fruits into popsicles within 5 minutes. That was our concept. Right? So that is the first concept Scuzo Isomagic started. And today we are sitting with 40 odd stores in India right now, within 3 years of time.
That's so amazing. And because you started in the pandemic, there's no going back on this. Udita, I'll come back to you. And there's one connect common between us, that I worked with Shahi Exports in 99, 2003 with Harish Bhai. Very regularly I used to work for, because they were in Noida, whatever they used to feed, they used to have problems with regard to, so I used to help. I just remember to tell you.
I spent a very short while there.
He is
5
one of
months.
the finest businessman, very reputed, and of course, it must have given you something to understand. But tell me this: when I read TrueBrowns, I was calling it unknowingly, knowingly Brown Monday, the song. It rang in my mind. So TrueBrowns, you mean you were talking about right of everybody to wear a proper. ये मेरे जैसे लोगों को बहुत problem आती है. If I go to Raymond's also,
100% of the people.
So I'll tell you what happens.
Brown is
so
Indians.
So
brown.
Udita, you answer first. See, I'm talking as a prospective customer here. It will help everybody. I go to Raymond's, their showroom, and it happens. 5 years back, I used to go regularly. They will show me the maximum size possible, which is 44. Now, if 44 shirt, if I'm wearing, I can wear it very easily. But the moment they will give me a coat of 44, it won't fit me. So they will say, "Ye se bada hai nahi." But the fact is, their whole size thing is so improper. Most of these brands, all of them which are there on the high street and the malls. Now, what difference it will do to D2C? If I want to take it from your place, how do I get it which fits me?
So, over the last 3-4 years, we have delved very, very deeply into the size and the fit matrix of apparel for our consumers. And now we have a tool on our own brand website where bases your height, your weight, and a similar purchase if you've done in the past with us, we will recommend a size to you for your next purchase. So, and we keep collecting that data, and that analytics is of course working at the back, and it keeps throwing us a lot of understanding as to which silhouette, which size works the best, where the returns are happening more, where the returns are not happening. And we incorporate that data analytics into our future collections, where we say, okay, for these particular set of collections, we will do these sizes in this way, and for the rest, we will turn around in this way. So we've incorporated this over the, as a brand, we are size inclusive from day one. At that point of time, we started with 10XL. Today, we have ready sizes up to 6XL for women, which is sizes up to 52 in that way. So, which is a huge offering of ready garments, which are smart, branded, which otherwise is an unorganized market completely. So, we started there, and today we have this data analytics with us, where we keep building on, and this is how hoping that when you shop with us, we give you the right answers, and you are not going back.
So what is
unhappy.
what is the touch and feel part of it? Because in D2C, if you are into fashion or clothes, how do you deal with the touch and feel? What are the interactive technological options there?
Touch and feel. I say that the customer representative, the one who's taking your calls, is the touch and feel that you can give to the consumer today. In D2C, beyond that, it is definitely difficult, and we have to be very real about it. And that is why it's very clear that a lot of online brands, or 99% of the online brands, are actually moving towards having an offline expression. And a lot of offline think that online is also very important. So we have started our offline journey this year, where we've started with our SIS. We have presence with Shoppers, Iconic, DLF now. And in an online space, it is all about you need to get your shoot correct, because that's the visual appeal that you can give to your consumers, and that is going to lead to a conversion, nothing else.
I agree with you. So I travel a lot to smaller places also, in different high courts and other places. But even in smaller cities, as small as Banaras, Gorakhpur, if you call them in small cities, and the kind of penetration which the e-commerce has managed to do, or the D2C has managed to do, even in our immediate families, is something phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like, people like me used to feel 2 years back that this is largely confined to bigger cities, bigger clusters. It's not the truth. So Paridhi, what are your markets you are looking at? Because this is very nuanced what you're doing. And tell us a little more in detail that who all can approach to get this kind of premium thing. And is it very premium, or is it something which you ultimately, you are expecting a consumer awareness and eventually a revolution around it?
So, to be honest, initially when like I mentioned that I made this product because I was solving my own personal problem. So when I made it, that time I was targeting it for luxury products. But eventually I realized, once we launched and everything, that because it was so well designed and thought of, and I'd like to say me and my partner both have quite a bit of OCD. So we are quite particular about, this should fit right, this pocket is particular, this should suffice multiple purposes instead of just sticking to the design. So what we've noticed along the line is that as much as it's being valued for taking care of your products when you're storing them and keeping them as new as possible, they're also providing a lot of functionality. For example, one of my continuous and repetitive customer response is when my clients are traveling. I get n number of calls to my customer care service where they are ready to pay 3 times the expedited delivery fees, whereas the product is just for, say, 2,000 rupees. But they are ready to pay 500 to 800 delivery fees because they need to have it before they travel. That's the kind of functionality it's providing. So, whereas I started from providing it just to the luxury sector, because at that time, like we all know, the luxury market is booming in India. So the prospect and the target audience for that itself was wide enough. But now the amount of value adding it's doing for your functionality and other prospects, the target audience is just expanding for us day by day.
And what are the products typically?
So the products, typically we started with back care products. It's organizers inside your bag. So, when we women, we are using bags daily, they get disoriented, they get D-shaped, the linings of the bags get spoiled. At the same time, at least for me and many like me, I believe, I carry my world in my bag. From day to night, I'm good to go. I do not need to go back to my house. So, but when the time comes, like I'll lose my phone in a minute, I'll lose the keys, it'll take me a while. It's just everything is available in a blink of an eye with the help of an organizer. At the same time, when we guys are storing our bags and our shoes, earlier we used to put papers, tissue papers, plastic, just so to keep their shape and no moths are added to it. Or, in old time, the naphthalene ki golis that our mothers used to put, that used to leave such bad smell in our product.
Yeah.
Now we are adding silica gels inside our product that will leave no smell, at the same time take care of humidity, moths, and all the product is fresh smelling. It's completely sustainable, eco-friendly, not a slide of paper is in there. So keeping all the factors that will actually add to the value for every kind of thought that is out there.
So this happens to the bags, and it can happen to the clothes also.
Yes. So
Because typically, when I was growing up in smaller cities, people never had a place to keep their winter clothes, so it will be invariably with the dry cleaner, and he used to charge a money for that. At that time,
Absolutely.
because so you leave it for 4 to 5 months there only. The places I remember
Yes.
in my childhood, so it will be told it has to come in October, November. I will go back there. So is it something you are?
Yes,
So
so
do
very-
you store also?
So very rightly pointed, accept the dry cleaners, and then you were paying a storage fees on
Exactly,
that as well.
yes.
And at the same time, people who had, you know, those trunks and everything, like our mothers and our grandmothers used to store our clothes in. So they had to put naphthalene balls and smell, and when you took out, you had to put your clothes out in the sun or send them for dry cleaning to get the smell out. So once we had launched our back care and shoe care, then we saw the huge market because it was accepted so well. Then we launched into linens. Then we've launched into homeware. Now bag care, clothing as well. So we've already launched products for all of that, and many more are coming. So now, just from a women-centric, we've delved into kids, home style, men's, so making it a full-on lifestyle brand now.
Yeah, because men are competing harder now. They have 20 pair of shoes and all kind of stuff. Yeah.
But you know, as long as I feel men are very brand loyal. If
Yeah.
they like one shirt or
Yeah.
one shoes, they would want to take
Very
care
well
of
said.
it even more than women. Women are very, you know, okay, I want this as well, I want this as well, everything. But men are very
Well
brand
said.
loyal.
Gagan, men are brand loyal, so they eat your ice creams?
She's right actually. Sometimes I really find it like, that when it comes to loyalty in terms of our product, in fact, right? So our maximum of our consumers, if I'll say, are basically from south part of India, and I'll say exactly the women's contribution of women's are still 39% out of my total business.
My.
So I mean, basically the decision makers are basically it is coming to our store, and then data analytics. I see exactly. So we have got.
So who is the decision maker?
I mean, of course, it is either kids in terms of our product.
Yes.
In terms of our product, it's the kids are the decision makers, or else the men. Because when it comes to south part of India, I think the women's there they don't take the decision by their own. Yeah.
And take us to your typical store, how it looks like, because you are more into you are of course D2C, but in a physical form also. So you have 40 stores now?
Yes.
What all is there typically there? In Delhi you have?
Delhi we have in NCR basically, and we have 5 stores in NCR. And so ideally, what I have understood so far is D2C is like direct to consumer. Right. So when it comes to D2C, what I personally feel, anything which consumers can experience directly. When I have studied about D2C, is saying that we are taking middlemen out from our we are reaching directly to our consumers. We are taking all the data, we understand our consumers, we understand their behaviors, what they like, what they don't like. We understand each and everything. So following that, when I thought to start my brand Scuzo, the first I did is I started my own manufacturing unit, because I wanted my consumers to experience my product, directly, so that I'll understand exactly what sort of, so anything whichever I'm launching, let's say a new product, I'm letting I'm introducing the same thing at my store initially, and I'm taking the maximum feedback from our consumers, whether they're liking the product or not, right? Or anything, whether in regards to their feedbacks, I always take it I have got my one feedback feedback section where I'm taking their direct feedbacks, understanding their behaviors, and based on that only I'm taking it. So for my understanding, D2C is direct to consumers. So that we are doing, right? And after offline presence, we are reaching to online as well, right? Initially we started offline, but now through we saw post-pandemic, digitalization has gone into extreme level. So I'm utilizing that thing also and reaching to my consumers directly through digitalization as well, right? And talking about my stores, so we have, in fact, following the digitalization as well, we have made our stores like Insta-worthy stores. Our stores follows a rainbow color out of it, so that anybody entering inside our store can have a feeling. Because ideally, I feel people go to a good brands and they taste the product later, and initially what they do, they take the selfie with the stores at their interiors, they enjoy their interiors.
Done it. Matlab ye tick list ho gaya.
Absolutely.
So tell me, Gagan, I'll just interrupt you. Tell me, just say, when we say ice cream, if we say Sitafal comes to our mind, then natural comes to our mind.
Yes.
So what is your one product which is already talk of the town? How? Because that must be the reason why you reached to a huge turnover and 40 and plus outlets. What is one product which you think is your USP?
Thanks, Sudhir. In fact, like that was one of my favorite question actually.
That's my job.
So, actually, when it comes to our product, I started like when like Chatpata Jamun is one of our like
Wow.
hot selling product. Why I named it Chatpata Jamun? We are the Desis, right? So I understand it.
So that so we will say Scuzo Eyes Chatpata Jamun.
Exactly.
That
yes.
goes on at least on my LinkedIn because I'm not on Insta and other places. I have 90,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'll put it there.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a story as well for the like Chatpata Jamun. I remember like the whole Delhi was in lockdown, and we were having only one store there in Gurgaon which was open during that time. So we were having many stores from the Pitampura. They were traveling. They were taking e-passes, coming all together to like
Wow.
our Gurgaon store to buy 10 Chatpata Jamuns in one go for 3 days. And they were saying after 3 days again I'll get another e-pass and I'll come back.
So this is a story. This is what we wanted our people to listen to. All of them are startup founders. That these are the stories. Udita, coming back to you, one of the companies I work with, they have so much similar thing to you in Paridhi's, and their journey and somewhere bordering to what our Gagan also is talking about. Now that's a company called Spalba. Have you heard of it? So they are into virtual places. So what they do, they are the booking.com for meeting places. So if you are going to say any city in the country and you want to book a meeting room in a hotel or a club even or any place, how will you book it? Unless you go to that hotel, you check in, then you decide, I have a 15 people meeting, now where do I do it? And even the banquet, even the marriages, everything. So it started with that during the pandemic. And these guys had solid background in Wizcraft and otherwise, so they were knowing the business. What they have created, and I'm part of that journey, so because you are talking about it, so I just thought to say, so their technological superiority is so big now that they give you the entire hotel's every meeting place with the salt and pepper and everything kept properly. What stationery you will keep it for the meeting, everything is virtual. And then you tick and book it directly. So, and that is started from India, and they have gone to Singapore, they have gone to Middle East. So a lot of B2C is starting from India now, and it is going to Southeast Asia or Middle East now. What do you think? Where is your journey heading?
So we are already international. We started our journey last year, and it's one of the highest growing channels for us today. US is our biggest market, followed by UK.
वहाँ shapes का बहुत problem है.
वहाँ पर our plus size is contributing even higher.
Absolutely.
So it is at least 15% higher than what the contribution is in India.
Yeah.
And it's a huge mark of marketing for us in that
Absolutely.
particular territory, and we're going to make it bigger with time. But internationally, there is a huge scope of Indian brands to make a mark, and especially if the why of your brand is strong, because people there, and today in India also, they love if there is a story behind of what you're doing and why is cleared out quite well in front of your consumers. So this is what we've just started this journey. It's only 1 year into it. It's growing very well, so I'm very positive about it. But
So that's a journey you are looking at.
Yes,
Very good.
yes. The international and offline
absolutely.
is the growth.
Paridhi, where do you see your business going forward? And because it's the more we will hear from like examples like Jamun one, if you have some examples to share, that why this space of conserving, preserving, and having a nuanced handling of these things is something, if you ask me, this can be a separate ESG study actually. That it's all about preserving, recycling, and it helps in the circular economy. If you preserve it for a longer duration, increases, wastage will stop. So you have many other dimensions attached to it. So what is the profitability part of the business for you, and how much is hygiene part of it?
Okay, so very rightly said. I was about to use the same term. When you say circular economy, that's exactly what our entire product and ethos of our brand is based on. Now, what is happening is, thanks to, I would say, the exposure, the customer today, the Indian today, I would say per se, is very conscious. They are very educated with the new Gen Z coming. they know exactly what they want. You know, a lot of our generation was based on conditioning and what we were told for our parents and everything, whatever was passed on. Today's generation is not afraid to ask. And thanks to digitalization, everybody has an easy access to ask, but why not this? But why are you not making our world a better world? And that is where the entire basis of TidyUp is creating products that will add to that sustainability. The products itself are sustainable, whereas they're further on making your luxury products, your hand-downs from our grandmothers, your vintage, anything for that matter. They're making it longer lasting. The trends that are going right now of reusing, reselling, so many brands are coming up where they're saying, resell your bags, resell your shoes, and then preserve them. This has just started taking momentum. For it to grow, you first need to make sure the products that you have, they are kept well. Also the way, you know, you and I were having we guys were having a very interesting conversation where we're talking about how the government are putting such strong policies to maintain our forest, to maintain our environment. So how will we maintain the environment if we are not taking care of not wasting paper? The way I see it, not very long, far enough, it will be a paper-free community.
Yeah.
So that is where we are reaching for. In order to say where we are expanding, we already are in Dubai. We have a lot of clients. We are shipping worldwide. We had a very nice offer where Amazon US reached out to us themselves. They wanted us to be on board. And we were right there. But then we saw that the market out here in India is so much.
Yeah.
And I'm a very pro-Indian, make in India, stay in India person. And I want the population, the way we are the third largest economy right now, who are after US and China, who are on digitalization, a digital podium of increasing and being on e-commerce. So I feel the prospects are humongous.
Amazing. And I'll just tell you on this note that it was 2019, January, when Amazon had reached out to me because they were bombarded with all kind of these plastic issues and other thing. And I was handling that entire transition. But for the pandemic, if pandemic had not come, banning of plastic, which happened on 1st of July last year, would have happened much earlier, 3 years earlier. Now, the second part is that how much goes into packaging of all these e-commerce companies and how much effort the government has taken last 3 years. I was part of some of these strong initiatives from pollution control boards. You rightly said that they were multi-layering packaging. And even to reduce it to 70% today, which we have succeeded in India, in US and in most of the Europe, it's not happening even now, but India has succeeded. Tell me, how many people have seen, if you go for buying your vegetables now, you won't get a plastic bag from the sabji wala bhai sahab. He will not give you anymore. And that change has happened. That's one. And on conserving part, I want to compliment you that even in movies and in our lives, it's always treasured that this is our great grandmother's sari, which I'm wearing in my wedding. So that is something so conditional to our system of conserving and preserving, and it's something which is happening. Yeah, Udita, you say?
I have a story to tell here. So we are built on the concept of consciously designed. So we are minimal, consciously produced, consciously packaged as well. So it happened at one point of time that we ran out of packaging, the paper packaging that we do. It's fully there's no plastic in it. So we ran out of packaging, and the team of course packed in an alternate one of the orders. The consumer called up and said that I'm not going to accept this because this is not plastic free.
Wow.
And I loved it. I said, great. I mean, it's a check for us that,
Wow.
But this is where we are heading towards.
Lovely.
I mean, literally she was like, this is not plastic free. I'm not going to accept this order.
Gagan, I give you the last word.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where are we heading? And
About that, actually, I have a very good thing to say.
and
Actually,
also just to our two leading ladies have said so much about environment and conserving. The next selfie which they take, there is some mentioning of giving back to the environment also in your stores.
Yeah. So, in fact, I would say exactly the moment when I started, I thought thought of packaging first, because that was the talk of the town. Actually, I would say everybody was talking about packaging, the plastic packaging. and all the stores in regards to like all international brands. In fact, like wherever like I'm a person like if I'll buy a like glass of soft drink, I won't sip it until I won't get the straw, right? Or else if I'm like traveling, I'll buy something and it doesn't have a lid, I won't buy it, right? So I thought like how we can think coming out of it. At the same time, actually one of my friend has started a new business of making straws made out of rice.
Wow.
Right, so I started I was the one who started the rice straws first in my store. Though it was expensive, but I thought, because when I'll talk about CAC, so the customer acquisition cost, I included that also as a part of it. I said, though it is expensive, but let's introduce it. Let's keep the same thing at all the stores, and I won't keep like anything which is made out of plastic. Right, that was the first innovative thought I started my store.
Amazing. So, so how it looks like? It dissolves or it remains like the paper one sometimes?
Yeah, the paper was having issues of like glue
Yeah,
and gums in it,
yeah.
right? And it was having a bad smell.
Yeah.
And this rice straws are made out. It has a color also in it. It has a made out of like if I'll talk about it, there's a
Yes.
beetroot color. It has
Yes.
a green spinach color in it, and it won't give you smell. And after once you will sip it, 100% you can eat that straw.
So perfect. Then put some stories about them, even on the social media. So wonderful. We are absolutely out of time, and I'm very happy. We just had 4 of us here, and not even 1 minute we had no stories to tell you. We are done with our story. Thank you. Thank you very much.